Am I an a-hole for taking my coworker's parking spot after they complained that I was arriving late too often? My commute to work got progressively longer and unpredictable over the past year due to four bridges closures occurring within a month or within weeks of each other. No date has been given for their reopening, so for the time being, short of heading off to work an hour or two ahead of time, you risk arriving 5 minutes late once or twice a week. Everyone has been impacted by the traffic in one way or another, which I mentioned because there was no way someone could feign ignorance. One coworker, though, didn't care about legitimate reasons for me being slightly late for work every now and then, and complained so adamantly behind my back about it to my immediate supervisor, who reluctantly wrote me up. I knew it had to be one of the coworkers because they would get noticeably irritated whenever traffic conditions were brought up. They would leave the room, loudly interrupt with an unimportant questions or comments, or roll their eyes. They're also known for complaining about little things. At one point, having played a big role in not having a seasonal employee rehiring the following year. Despite that coworker, I love my job, so I started to leave for work an hour and a half earlier than before. My arrival is now anywhere between 15 to 45 minutes before my shift starts. And then I noticed the annoying coworker always arrived 10 minutes early and always has a very consistent street parking spot available. I used to park on a different side of our building before traffic got bad, and I have never noticed that they'd unofficially claimed a public parking spot as theirs. Most of the time, I'm at work early enough to get my pick of any spots in our always crowded employee parking lot. They know better than anyone that I'm at work way before than I have to. I mentioned my arrival time to the other coworkers with them in earshot, so now they know that I'm parking in their spot out of spite. I've even gone as far as to park right in the middle of a large space enough that can both accommodate my car and their car. I have no idea if they complained to our supervisor about it or not, but I really want them to have been stupid enough to complain about me taking their public parking spot away. So next time, don't complain if I'm 5 minutes late every now and then, or you lose your parking spot. Our next story is titled, "Oh, you want a manager? I'll get the manager then." This was when I was working at Best Buy as a cashier. We had a transaction where a customer was being very difficult. We recently got a new operation manager who came from the computer sales and didn't really know about the register that well. Well, during his first week, this is what happened. So I was at the cashier and I rang up a customer and says, "Okay, that'll be $100. The customer says, "Fine, here." Tosses a card onto the counter. The card was declined. I said, "Sorry, sir, your card is declined. I can run it again, or we can try another card if you like." The customer responds, "Run it again. I know there's over $1,000 on that card. It should work." I swiped the card again, and again it was declined. "Sorry, sir, it was declined again." The customer responds, "It has to work. Is there anything else you can do to approve it?" "Well, I can run it manually, but we only usually do that if the magnetic strip is damaged, but I'll go ahead and try it." So I manually entered the card details and it was declined again. The customer looks and says, "There must be a way for you to force or bypass that. I know there's money on the card." I said, "I'm sorry, sir. If it's declined by the card company. There's nothing else I can really do." The customer yells, "That's bullshit. I know there's money on that card. Get your damn manager now." I responded very calm and collective and I said, "Okay, sir, one moment." So I flagged down my new manager and he approaches to the stand behind the counter right next to me. The manager says, "Hello, sir. How can I help you?" The employee is now in a rage, says, "Your employee keeps declining my card and I know there's plenty of money on that card. You need to overwrite it." So my manager attempts to run the card and was declined again. The manager says, "Sorry, sir, it was declined." The customer yells, "I know that. You need to override it so I can take my stuff and go home." The manager turns 90 degrees to face to me and said, "It's declined. Is there anything we can do to override it?" I responded to my manager, "No, sir, that decline is from the card company and not from us. There's nothing else we can do." The manager turns 90 degrees back to the angry customer. "I'm sorry, sir. I've spoken with one of our experts, and he informed me that there's nothing else we can do about this card. Would you like to sign up for our card and save 10% on your purchase today?" The angry customer stomped out of the store. My manager and I had the biggest laugh right afterwards. For our last story today, it's titled, "Oh, you want individual emails? You got it." Short little story from my new job that I had over a month. I recently moved to a new state and got a new job managing an office in the medical field. Every morning, one of my responsibilities is emailing a list of patients by the type of appointment they had and the details of their appointment. These are called an encounter, to the records from the day prior. I had a separate document by the type of appointment and attach a file into one single email with the date. Having worked the records before, sorting by the date and having a subcategories for the type was the easiest for me, and this is the way the place trained me to do it. After about 2 weeks of doing it the way I was told, and the way I thought was the easiest, I get a very abrupt passive-aggressive email in the response. "Send encounters each individual emails, thanks," from one of the angry records person. I tried to reach out for clarification. Did they want an entire list done one appointment in an individual email? I received no response from the person who requested individual encounters, so I just continued the way I was doing it as the way I had been taught. Another week goes by and I get another passive-aggressive email. Per my last email, send encounters in each individual emails. No please thank you or response to my original question at all on how they want it. So, I maliciously complied. It took about an extra 2 hours of my time, but I did it as she asked, and I painstakingly sent each counter in a separate email. One counter per email. That equated to about 60 emails back to back to back 60 times, instead of one nicely laid out email sorted by type. 2 days of this, and I quickly got, "Please stop, you're cluttering my emails. You may send me one email with the encounter types attached, thanks," from the angry records person. I thought so. I continued to send the emails how I was trained, and I never had a problem since. There's an update. I found out who the person was that was requesting me to send them each individual encounters, and it was a records girl, and she was new, and she got to learn that part of the job the hard way. Unfortunately, I feel a little bit bad for fucking around with her like that, but by the end, I think she learned that a little bit of email etiquette can go a long way. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell for more fun stories. Be sure to check out more stories in the comments section and the descriptions and the end screen. I'll see you guys next time.